theorem is what we're doing today, but our warm-up for the week before we turn it in, right, is that we need to use the distance formula again. I want you to find the distance between B and C. So which side or which point do we not care about? We don't need A, right? So let's draw a long square root sign and go ahead and start doing this. X2 minus X1 is going to be 3 minus 2. Those are my X's. I subtract them, X2 minus X1. So 3 minus sign 2, parentheses, don't forget the squared, plus, next parentheses, I'm doing Y2 minus Y1. Careful on this one. It's going to be negative 9 and negative 6. So I'm going to write negative 9 minus negative 6. Okay, so I have a minus sign in the middle here and then a negative sign. Don't forget the last squared there, okay? So if you can do that, then you should be able to type it into your calculator, okay? We go to new calculator and we press square root, which is control X squared, and then we start typing it in, parentheses, 3 minus sign 2, parentheses, squared, plus, parentheses, careful right here, negative 9 minus sign negative 6, parentheses, and don't forget that last squared. If you can type it in correctly, then you should get 3.16, okay? That's your distance from B to C. If you got something different, you may have typed in negatives or minuses wrong. You may have forgotten the square root sign or something else, okay? Also, make sure your square root sign goes all the way across, okay? Make sure your name is on this, okay? If you were absent any day or ISS, make sure you put that on those days, and then we're going to pass those up to the front, and then we're going to do these notes. So you're looking at the triangle sum theorem notes. Again, we're still doing notes at the front, please. So this will be short and sweet, and then you can work on stuff, okay? Now, we're not doing this the way it says it because it's really messy, and I think we've already gone over this, kind of. But theoretically, if you were to take a triangle, and if you were to rip off all 3 angles, what would we find out compared to a straight line? So I'm going to show it over here on the board. It's not going to be on the video as much, but it's okay. So check it out. Does everyone see it? You got to look up here. Okay, does everyone see this triangle? Okay. Now, first of all, we know a straight line is how many degrees? 180, right? So if these 3 angles somehow can line up on this line, then they would equal 180, right? And that kind of proves it visually. So check it out. I'm going to remove one angle, put it on the line, remove the second angle, put it right next to it, remove the third angle, put it right next to that, okay? And this works for any triangle. If you rip them off and line them up perfectly, mine are not perfectly because it's tape, they make a straight line. How many degrees is a straight line? We just said 180. So guess what? And we already knew this. What do the 3 angles add up to? 180, okay? That was on a warm-up earlier this week, okay? I told you that. This is showing you that. We're going to apply that today on the back of this. It's going to be with a little bit slightly more complicated stuff, but it's doable. I promise. I'll show you. Okay, well, that's it for that. So at the bottom, I want you to write next to my conjecture what we just talked about. And then on the bottom, go ahead and write it this way, okay? Okay, at least for sure write this down at the bottom. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So make sure you write that down right there. Once you've written that down, you can flip it over. All right, so let's flip it over. Now this looks like a warm-up we did earlier this week. So the first two on the top, I'll admit, we've done this. It's kind of easy, okay? Kind of. So let's look at how I would want you to do this. The first one on the top left, I see three angles. I know that inside it adds up to 180 degrees. We just said that on the front, right? So here's how I would set up an equation. I would say angle at the top and then plus the other two angles equals how many degrees? 180. So to make an equation, you just put angle plus the other angle plus the other angle equals 180. Okay, so you can go ahead and write that down. Now, from here, there's two options. You solve it by hand, or you can use insolve menu 3-1 in your calculator, right? I prefer that you solve it by hand, and if you need to, you can check your answer with insolve menu 3-1, okay? And on these notes, I'm going to show you how to do it by hand either way, okay? So, first things first. I see I got two numbers on the left side of the equal sign. I can combine like terms. So what's 52 plus 55? 107. Bring down x plus, bring down equals 180. Last step to get rid of the 107 on the side of x, the loner. How do I get rid of a positive 107? Subtraction, very good. So minus 107 gives me 180 minus 107 is 73 degrees. Okay. Now, on the warm-up earlier this week, and you may think, hey, can't I just add them up, subtract from 180? Well, that's what we did. We're just showing our steps algebraically. But when you get to the harder ones, you can't really just do it like that, where you add them and subtract. It's a little bit tiny more complicated. But let's do one more kind of easier one. On the top right here, what does this mean right here? 90, right? So again, inside adds up to 180. So I'm going to do angle plus angle plus angle equals, and then 180 degrees, right? Once again, two numbers, constant numbers, are on the same side. My first step I want to do is to try to combine like terms. So 90 and 29, those combine to make what? 119. Bring down m plus, bring down equals 180. And now we got one step left to get rid of that positive 119. What do I do? Minus 119 on both sides, and I get 61 degrees. Okay. Cool. Now, if they were all like that, pretty straightforward, right? But let's scroll down, or let me scroll down, but look at the next row, the next two, okay? Do you see how it gets a little more complicated looking? But we're going to do it the same way, okay? So maybe write a little smaller on these to fit stuff in. On the left, what I'm going to do again is add up angle plus angle plus angle equals 180. Same idea. Let's do that. 10x plus, and that 10x is in parentheses, 10x plus 2x plus 1 plus 59 equals 180. Y'all see how I set it up the same? Angle plus angle plus angle equals 180. Now this time I can combine two things. The x's combined and the constant numbers combined. Okay? So 10x plus 2x combines to make what? I heard 12. 12x. And also the numbers that are by themselves. 1 plus 59 adds up to make what? 60, right? Combine those, equals 180, and then all we got to do is solve it from here. It's a two-step problem, okay? So I'm going to get rid of the loner first, And my loner is what? 60, right? So I'm going to, how do I get rid of a positive 60? Subtraction, right? I'm going to subtract 60 from both sides. So I'm going to do minus 60, minus 60. I'm going to bring down the 12x, and then what's 180 minus 60? 120. So 12x equals 120. Last step, to get rid of a coefficient, 12, that's multiplying to the x. What's the opposite of multiplying? Divide by 12. And we get 120 over 12 is 10, okay? You see how it's doable. You just set it up, no matter how ugly it is, combine my terms, and it's solvable. Now, again, you could have just end solved it from up here. That's fine. But I'd rather you try to solve these. It builds your math skills, especially in the future, for future math classes, right? Okay. Now, next one is got even more stuff, but we can do it. Okay. Again, write small because you're going to fit a lot in here. We're going to add up those three angles equal to, once again, 180. So here we go. 2x plus 11 plus 7x plus 18 plus 6x plus 16. Angle plus angle plus angle equals 180. Bless you. Now, what do you think we're going to do first? Combine like terms, just like the last three we did. Now, this time, there's three terms I can combine, three x's and three constants. But you can combine them all at the same time, right? So check it out. 2x, 7x, and 6x all combined at one time. And since you're adding, they're all positive. What's 2 plus 7 plus 6? 15x. Very good. Then, your constant numbers. Add those three up. 11 plus 18 plus 16. You add those up, and you do get 45. Very good. Equal sign 180. You see how it went from complicated to manageable? Now, once again, get rid of the loner, 45, by subtraction, minus 45. Minus 45, because it's the opposite of adding 45. And then 180 minus 45 is 135. Last step again, it's a coefficient being multiplied, so the opposite is to divide by 15. So 135 divided by 15 is 9. All right, last one real quick. More of the same idea. This is 90. So we have 4x minus 2 plus 90 plus 48 equals 180. On the last one, there's only one x. So you just bring it down. 4x. The three constants I want to add together. Negative 2 plus 90 is 88. 88 plus 48 is 136, I believe. Sorry, what? Negative 2 plus 90 plus 48. So it's 138 minus 2, so 136. Let me know if y'all get something else. But negative 2 plus 90 plus 48. I think, pretty sure it's 136. What? You're good? 136? Okay. Now, solve for x, get rid of the loner. The opposite of plus 136 is also negative 136. 4x equals 44. 44. Okay. And then last step to get rid of that 4 coefficient that's being multiplied is divide by 4. And we get 11. Okay, x is 11. Okay, I think that's doable for y'all, but I don't want y'all to forget about the last 2 days. So, Tuesday, I believe, classifying triangles, I think two-sided, I think most of y'all have already done that. Yesterday, I know this one's a little bit more difficult. Some people haven't finished it yet. So if you haven't finished the distance formula classifying assignment, you want to do that first, wrap that up, and then today's, you can do that, okay? So let's go ahead and knock this out.